Hey, good afternoon, guys. Live from San Antonio, Texas today. Just from San Antonio, as you can see. It's pretty overcast today, but welcome to the Recovery Channel podcast. Here as usual with my co-host, Jennifer Lovely. How are we doing, Jen?
We're good.
Hey, you seen this, guys? Have you seen this?
We're together.
Awesome. I know, it's unbelievable.
Yes, we are excited to be together. It's fun. So side by side here, enjoying some chillier weather here in San Antonio.
Can you believe that, guys? It's dropped down to about 57 at the moment, which, as you know, that's unheard of from Texas. But we'll get there. We'll climb back up. It's nice to see that winter is in December this year. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, right. So we have some fun guests on today. My favorite two people, I think, might be in the whole world right now, for sure. I love them so much. Ray and Renee.
Yes, they indeed. They're going to be great. So they did a program with us, and now they've jumped over to our family program, our Recover Me coaching program. So really glad to have them here, really excited to have them in. I'm going to ask them loads of questions. So stick around, guys. And if you want to know what Recovery Me coaching is, here we go. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. This is Recovery Channel Podcast, live from San Antonio. Me and Jen here live next to each other. And we're with Ray and Renee today. Hey guys, how are we?
Great.
Yeah? How great?
Wonderful. We're great. Yeah.
Great.
Good.
And well and centered and feeling groovy.
Groovy. I like it.
Yeah.
So tell me, you guys can say it together. It can be combined or it can be separate. Give me 5 things that have impacted your life the most, made you who you are today.
I'm going to say one of the major impacts for me was going through Dr. Rob's intensive outpatient treatment program, taking me through the first 164 pages of the big book, Alcoholics Anonymous. And I've been in the program for about 8 years, and I really struggled. You know, I would get sober for a handful of months and then go back out, come back in, always trying to look and do something different. And finally, I was taken through the literature, I was taken through the book, in a very intense study of that book. And as I did that, everything started to pop for me. I became, I had a full knowledge of my condition, that I was hopeless and I needed help. And I was willing to do whatever it took to get that help from Dr. Rob. And so that's the first thing. Gosh. You know, the therapy that I received from Jennifer as well was also a major impact for me. We did a lot of work in the adult child of alcoholics program, and which was taking me back to the scene of the crime. And I was able to look at my past and my upbringing, and through that, you know, I had a lot of aha moments, and I was able to, you know, to have some healing through that.
Yeah.
Also working the third thing I would say would be going through the steps again. And as I went through those steps, you know, we basically did them in 2 days. I had several amends to make. A couple of those were very difficult for me to do. But I realized the urgency of doing those and cleaning up my side of the street. So I got those done. And it's just been a remarkable experience of healing and healed relationships, especially like with my parents, who I had resentments against. The fourth thing also would be that Renee was also involved with Jennifer, and was, you know, through life coaching. So her and I have been able to work together as a couple and also heal and learn some tools to be open and honest with each other. And we're still growing in that area. And we're utilizing, the tools that were laid at our feet. And so that's really been great. And let's see, the fifth thing was Rob and Jennifer both just really calling me out on my BS whenever that popped up.
Whenever it pops up. When it pops up.
Daily.
Yeah,
Daily.
almost daily.
Every session.
Weekly for sure.
Okay.
The whole idea of breaking up with your bullshit, right? That's what we do here. We break up with our bullshit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I like that.
exactly.
We're breaking up
Exactly.
with our bullshit. I'm
Long
using
life
that.
relationships.
Yeah.
And Renee, same question.
Okay, what's the question again? You got to repeat it now.
Sure. What are the 5 things in your life? It doesn't have to be in recovery, but your life. What has impacted you? What has made you who you are today?
Well, I was a drug addict for so many years. 20, a good 20. If you go back to when I started smoking marijuana, that would be longer, 25 years. And then cocaine became the primary, it became my primary drug of choice. And I followed that for many, many years. However, there were times and I tried to get clean on self-will and I tried to get sober on self-will. So I would say one of the things that impacted me, one of the ways I'd always try to find these easier, softer ways to recover. And one of those ways that I tried to recover without a program was I converted to Islam in 1994. I converted to Islam and became an active Muslim and actively practicing the religion of Islam, which included the 5 prayers a day, fasting for 30 days during the month of Ramadan. I had like at least 5 fasts that I did. I wore the hijab, and then lived my life around, like it gave me a very structured lifestyle that I needed. I didn't have any structure in my life. So that was a very impactful in my life. Like I didn't continue practicing it, practiced it for about 5 years. Then I was a victim of a violent crime during that time of my life. And after that, I went back to my addiction. So that impacted my life. What I learned, the lessons that I learned through Islam and covering, and the humility that I learned when I didn't show my hair and my, and all of that. That was very impactful on me. I've had things like, I've been to prison, and that's very impactful. I actually, in order to reduce my sentence with prison, I volunteered for a program. It was a boot camp, and it was a 90-day boot camp program, and it was very, very, very tough. It was 90 days of beating my ass every single day, emotionally, mentally, and physically. And if you completed this 90-day program, then you got instant parole. And so really a 2-year sentence got reduced to 6 months as a result of that. I did 3 months in prison, and I did the 3 months in boot camp. And that taught me some really awesome lessons about myself, about my strengths, about my weaknesses, what I can endure, about endurance, because it was hard. I didn't stay sober, but I still, could revert back to like the strength that I got. The strength that I had to endure that program, because there was a lot of people that quit the program and would go back to prison. And I'm like, no way am I going to do that. Like I'll let them call me all the names in the world. I'll let them make me do 100 push-ups a day and 500 sit-ups a day, but I'm going home, So just even sticking with that taught me something about myself. That was very impactful. I guess it was impactful. I ended up living in the streets even after that boot camp program. My last 4 years of my addiction was in the streets. And then I met a woman who had been in AA for 16 years, and she was super impactful in my life and leading me to AA. And I guess she led me to a 12-step program, which I have adopted. And that was 16 years ago in 2004. And then I guess beyond that is just like, just developing a spirituality, getting a relationship with my higher power, utilizing that relationship with my higher power, and really getting in tune with that. And that's been huge, continuing to seek through prayer and meditation to improve my conscious contact with God has been super impactful for me. And there's been many women throughout my recovery journey that have left a mark on me in a lot of ways. And then being a part of the recovery program, or part of my work with you, Jennifer, has been huge for me in codependency issues. Dealing with some codependency issues that I thought that just being sober was enough. Like, I'm sober, I've stayed sober, and that's enough, and I found out that it's not enough for me to feel whole and to feel strong about myself and good about myself, that I really had some serious, deep codependency issues. And getting honest with myself about that and working with you and some really tough issues has been really impactful in my life as well.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. Will you talk a little bit about how you represented, we talked a lot about what you represent in this world. And when you're recovered, you represent so much of, the recovery world, and you represent whatever that recovery program is. But when you're not, a part of the program, we are still representing something. And you talked about when you were wearing your hijab that you were representing God. It was your opportunity to represent God for you. And I loved that. That made me cry when you shared that. So will you talk a little bit about what you are representing today?
I just try to represent like truth and honesty. And I try to represent to not be judgmental about other people's lives and the way they live, and to stand in my truth. And, I've had a lot of hard lessons in life, and I have been through some serious, difficult times. I've been a victim of violent crimes. I've been a victim of rape. I've been a victim of abuse, verbal, mental, physical. I've been, I've had a lot of horrible things happen to me. I've had some really painful experiences in life. And it's huge to me that I have overcome all of the painful experiences that I've had, and I can stand tall today, and I can live my truth, and just even the simple things like suiting up and showing up for work every single day, putting in an honest day's work for an honest day's pay, to pay my bills on time, to never be late to pay. These are like little things, and maybe a lot of things that people take for granted that they do on a daily basis. Like, oh yeah, that's what everybody is. No, not everybody does that, so it's taken a lot of hard work for me. When, you talk about in Islam, when I was practicing that and I was covering, and the only thing, no man saw my hair in like 6 years, and the only thing they could see was my face. I had to learn how to live in my heart. I had to learn how to represent myself to people through a relationship inside rather than this outer shell. And I didn't realize how much I utilized the outer shell of Renee to deal with the world, to communicate, to get jobs, to get what I wanted, to manipulate, And it really taught me some really good lessons about my humility. And then I liked the structure that it taught me, like living my life around those 5 prayers a day taught me about like how present, like utilizing the presence of God in my life. So I try to represent all of that today. Like, I don't actively practice Islam, but I still try to stand in my truth with people, and like to make, what the 4 agreements, like my word is impeccable, and like to live that type of life. And all that I do.
Very freeing.
It's very freeing. Yeah.
So for guys that are doing the deal, for guys that are where you are today, you've done a lot of work on yourself. This is only for the viewers watching and the listeners. And I want to 10 scale. How happy are you today, guys?
10.
I'm at a 10.
I'm a 10.
I'm
yeah.
at a 10.
I mean, guys, 10. Look, This is proof. You're not just hearing us say it all the time. They're actually patients and clients, and they're living at a 10. And that today is what it's all about. Good job, guys.
Yeah. I love
Definitely
that.
a 10. Mhm.
What did you say, Renee?
Definitely a 10.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Good. So talk a little bit about your journey into recovery, or even after. Like what is your life now that you're recovered and that you feel you're walking in integrity? And when I talk about integrity, I'm talking about what we think, how we feel, and what we speak are all in alignment. So what is that like for you guys today as a couple and even separate?
Well, for me, it's it's a feeling of freedom.
Mm.
And I was thinking about this the other day. I had to do some running around. I had to drive. I don't know. I was out for 2-3 hours just taking care of some errands. And I had this overwhelming sense of peace and freedom that I struggled to have for so many years. My mind wasn't obsessing about something. I wasn't thinking about using. I wasn't thinking about some of those behaviors that would always lead me to using. And, you know, I get, I get emotional about it when even as I recall it, because you can't put a price on that, of that feeling and that well-being, of being recovered and being free. I didn't believe it could happen for me. You know, I read it in the book. I know the word recovered is used 17 times in the first 164 pages, and I just didn't know how to grab a hold of that. I saw it in others, correct. I saw it in others.
People you respected.
People I respected, and even mentored me, but I just felt it was elusive for me. Until I finally got to this place where I was just at 100% ready to surrender, throw my hands up and say, I can't do this. I can't live this way anymore. And that's actually the day that I called, I called Dr. Rob's program, and I got that interview with him. I was actually on my way to use, and this came on the heels of a relapse 2 weeks earlier. And normally for myself, when I would relapse, I'd feel that pain because it was always horrible. And, you know, I would ride on that pain for a handful of months, maybe several months, and then I'd be back out there doing it again. And here I was 2 weeks out from that, and a week out from thinking I had COVID because of the people that I was with when I was using, had that scare, turned out to be negative. However, there I am back at it again. And Renee called me on the phone. She just randomly, I wouldn't say so randomly, I believe it's God inspired.
Yeah.
She saw that I looked at the security camera while she was at work. I worked midnights the night before. I should have been in bed sleeping. And I believe God impressed upon her to just say, hey, I'm going to look at the security camera at home and the truck's not there. And then she called, and I seen the call come in, and I'm like, oh no, you know, I'm busted or whatever. I ignored the call, and then she sent me that text, you know, please go home.
Yeah.
And I looked down, I read the text, and then I had my GPS up at in another window on my phone, and it said turn right in 350 feet. I was literally a minute or two away. And I said, okay, I'm going home. And that was really, it was pivotal. It was, it was really almost impossible. It's really an impossibility at that point without God intervening for me to make that turnaround. That was my turning point, and that's when I surrendered, and it changed my life. You know, it really did.
It does. And I always find it interesting that we can see recovery in other people, and we can see the hope that they have and the peace that they have. And we can almost, it's almost like, when you're driving down the road and you see this beautiful mountain and you think, I can almost reach out and touch that. And that's almost what it's like in recovery. We see it in other people. We can almost reach out and have that, but to be able to feel that within ourselves is it's overwhelming.
Priceless, yeah.
It's priceless.
Well, it is. And what comes along with that surrender and with that willingness is the willingness to do the work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because when I was in going through Dr. Rob's program, our dining room table, there was, dictionaries, there was big book material, there was folders, notebooks. I mean, it's just highlighters and pens and
just everywhere.
we sit down to eat dinner, we got to like shoehorn ourselves in and clear a space, And Renee made a comment one time. She says, man, if somebody just popped in right now and saw all that, they'd be like, man, those people are pretty effed up. You know what I mean? But really what we were doing.
Or they have a lot of hope.
Exactly. And that,
how to see it however we want.
I love that.
exactly.
Absolutely. Guys, we'll be back after this. Hey guys, welcome back to the end of the show. Recovery Channel podcast. Dr. Rob Kelly, the addiction doctor, and Jennifer with Ray and Renee. They're clients of ours currently. They've come out to RKRG program into Recover Me coaching, and just look at them, guys. They actually look great. They sound great. It's just amazing. What's the highlight, guys, of your journey so far?
The highlight?
The highlight for me, well, there's a couple highlights for me. For me, just like, I've been with Ray. We've known each other for about almost 11 years now, but have been in our, this together, married for 4, been together, lived together 5. And, I've watched Ray go through, over the years, so many struggles with his addiction. I saw him, get home. I saw him homeless. I saw him try to come, get sober. I watched him do all kinds of things to try to get sober. And, he even has a relationship, like he's a spiritual person, and just nothing was working for him. So it has been it's such a contrast. It's such a miracle. Look, I think it's a miracle. It's such a contrast. The day he came home from that last run, and then he called, Dr. Rob. He had watched a podcast, listened to a podcast. It was just a audio. Heard the story that you shared, Rob, on your podcast. And your phone number was on there, like at the end, it says, if you want help, call this number. And like, literally, it's like your cell phone number, isn't it? It's crazy to me. And we're like, who does that? We're like, who puts their cell number? This must be the real deal.
Exactly.
Like, who puts their cell number out there? Anyways, and, so we thought, well, that can't be for real. So anyways, Ray, this is all on Ray. He called it and he set a meeting and whatever to get introduced to you, and shared some stuff. And then from that moment to today, which has been about 120 days now, has been all the years that I've known Ray, 11 years. I have never seen so much growth and hope. And you can see it even in his face. You can see it in his eyes. You can see it in his posture. You can see it in his eye contact. You can see that. You can hear it in his speech, the way he even interacts with everybody, with myself, with the other people. I hear him, trying to work with others, and the way he talks to other people, the relationship with his parents, the relationship with his daughters. That has just been like, to watch other people grow. One of my most favorite things about recovery is to watch it happen in other people. Yeah. And like to see that first moment, that broken day, they come in, You see them and they're just broken. You can just see it all over them. And then like they come again and they come the next day. You see them the next day, like that journey. And even like in the first 30 days of that, you can see like something, you see it happening. Their speech is different. They're sitting up taller. They got some color in their face and they're putting some weight. You can see it in their mind. I've watched that happen with my husband. And
yeah, I love that, Renee. Because basically what you're saying here is that you both have been willing to be completely honest about yourselves. You guys are both willing to really step into what that honesty is. And for me, that's what I want my legacy to be, is to be supporting people to step into what is my truth? What, you know, how can I be truly honest about myself? And that's what I love about the both of you so much, is that you both have been willing to be really honest with yourself. What do you want to leave the audience with today? What do you want them to know about what that is, to be honest with yourself, what that leaves your heart with?
To be honest with yourself?
Yeah, like what do you want the audience to know what that's like for you to be, for anybody that's struggling right now, or anybody that has a hard time being truly honest about themselves? What do you want them to know about what it's like to be honest with yourself?
Hope. That there's hope. And to never give up. And to never give up.
Yeah.
To never give up. Because I felt hopeless time in and time again, over and over and over. You know, I did what people suggested, and I did put an effort into it, you know, as I went along through my 8 years. But to really know my own truth and to do the work and to get to the place where I'm recovered, I have hope today. I have hope, you know, I'm excited about the future. And I didn't have that before.
But for me, the honesty piece, you know, coming into when I first got sober, there wasn't anything honest in my life. Nothing. There wasn't. No, like finally, even just to say like, I'm a drug addict and I need some help. Even just to say that truth to myself was like the most honest thing that I had done and said in a very long time. And it takes a lot of courage, personally speaking. And I know that everybody has it in them. I believe it with all my heart. It takes a lot of courage to face those fears, to face yourself, to look in the mirror, to know that you've done all these things to harm people, that you've told all these lies, that you've, you know, committed crimes, whatever it was that you did for your addiction or to get more alcohol or drugs. It was all just completely fake and dishonest crap and bullshit. And then to like try to live this life where you want to get sober and then you have to have all this truth that has to come out as a result of it. It happens and it can happen and it does happen. Like you just got to stick with it. And it's truly that one day at a time, just this one day. And sometimes I even had to take 15-minute increments, just like the boot camp program I told you about. When they were trying to make me do like 50 push-ups and I thought I was going to die, I'm like, oh my God, they're going to kill me. I'm like, and then I would say to myself, I got through that last 5 minutes. I can get through the next 5 minutes. I can do 5 more minutes. And I would do these little increments. Recovery was just like that.
Yeah. One step in front of the other.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is that with each increment, more will be revealed.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So I so love that so much. You guys, we are having to wrap up the show, but I want to tell you so much. Thank you so much for coming on here, doing this show with us. Dr. Robin and I are so excited to just be together side by side.
Great to see you two in the same.
I know it's fantastic.
I know it's fun.
Yeah.
And thank you for all of the honesty that you both have been willing to have in your own personal lives, but also with the world. Because when we share out loud, we save people's lives. And that's what we're here to do, is we're here to heal people, support people in their healing and save their lives. So thank you so much for your work.
Well, we we really appreciate you having us on your show. It's I'm just really honored and humbled as well at the same time.
Yes.
Beautiful. It was absolutely amazing. I just couldn't wait to get you on the show, obviously, because of your success and your vulnerability to, you know, and I know for a fact that people are being inspired by you out there in the workplace, at the meetings, wherever you be. Your marriage is amazing. You are amazing people. I want to just thank you for who you are. And guys, don't forget to join us on Monday, guys. Recovery Channel podcast. Me and Jen will be here together again, and we're not too sure whether we're going to let her go home yet. But listen, guys, this was Renee and Renee. Absolutely awesome people. Have a great week, guys. Have a great Saturday night and Sunday, and we'll see you Monday. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.